And there's a lot of elements we could talk about. Like the offense is back to a cold spurt. They have the top of the order not hitting as much as they were a few weeks ago. That's part of the issues. Clearly, they're having a tough week after being hot, right? They've now lost 3 straight games. In the grand scheme of things, the 3 straight losses is probably not going to kill them. They're still 5 up on the Mets, who seem to blow a 3 or 4 run lead every single night. But here's something that struck me last night watching the game, because I thought last night was a particularly rough Topper game. Mm-hmm. He just didn't have a good game last night, and every once in a while, a manager will just push all the wrong buttons. And it felt like last night he did. I thought in the 7th inning, leaving Lazardo out there, and then especially after the leadoff walk, just made no sense. The 9th inning bunt made no sense. He had the infield in the 7th inning. That burned him. It's just like everything he tried to do last night, it burned him. And I know you and TK a couple days ago had a discussion about Topper and people's trust in him. Well,
trusting.
Regardless of if you trust him or not, I got news for everyone this morning. Rob Thomson's going to play a huge role in if the Phillies can win the World Series or not. And I know we do this thing where we try to pretend managers don't matter, and the game has changed, and it's a GM game, and the manager just kind of sits there and doesn't really do anything. Not this Phillies team. I've come to the realization that if the Phillies win the World Series, Rob Thomson is going to have to be great. Not good, not decent, not just sit there the whole game. He's going to have to push a lot of right buttons. The Phillies are... I'm going to call them like a weird... They're a good team, but they're weirdly structured to where they need a lot of massaging to get the best out of them. Like, they're not going to blow teams out. They're not going to win all these games easily. Most of the games in the postseason, just based on the way the Phillies built, they're probably going to be close.
Tight.
They don't have a great offense. Even if they're hitting a little bit more than they have been, they're not a great offense. They go through these stretches where they don't hit to start the games. They have to score late, which means every little decision is going to matter down the stretch of this season and into the postseason. He's got a 6-man rotation now. How long do we keep that? The Castellanos thing, which we'll talk about again today. When do they pull the plug there or start playing him less? And then you get into the postseason, he's probably going to platoon an entire outfield. Okay, which guys do you play each day? And then during the game, when the opposing manager switches the pitcher out on the other side, when do you get your other guys in? That's going to be a big thing. And then one thing he does a lot is he seems to leave his starter out there maybe a scotch too long. And when it's Wheeler and when it's Sanchez, you're like, all right, okay, we trust those guys. But Lazardo and Ranger, you're going to have to find the exact right time to get them out of the game. And I thought last night he got Lazardo out of the game at the totally wrong time. He should have pulled him out at least a batter or two before. Look, the Phillies are good, and they're going to be good, and they're going to find their way into October because the Mets are falling apart and the Phillies have enough to get there. But once we get down the stretch and into October, I don't think Topper's just going to be able to just fill out the lineup card and say, go get him, guys. We need Topper to be great. 215-592-9494. Here, where do you come down on Topper's importance to this whole thing down the stretch of the season and into the postseason?
I think he's important. But at the end of the day, Joe, and this is how I feel, and I know we've talked to a lot of people this last week, and they talked about some of the moves that Topper made.
Yep.
And a lot of the moves that, they feel he should have made in certain situations. But what I remember about this team vividly since I've been here is cold bats in key opportunities and missed moments, a lot of missed moments, guys stranded on base and things of that nature. Is that Topper? I don't think so. Now, I understand that in baseball, some of the managerial moves are very, very important. I get that. But at the end of the day, when I think of this team and I think about the problems that they've had, it's always been the lack of runs in key situations, especially in the playoffs, especially when you're facing good pitching. And that's not on Topper to me. That's on the guys that you have and are paying a ton of money to. They have to come through in clutch situations, and they're not doing it.
Well, they're not. And look, if the Phillies don't hit in October, they're going to lose, right? That's the bottom line. But Topper can rescue them, or Topper could at least, if Topper pushes the right buttons, I think it could be a difference maker. Go back to last year, Game 1 against the Mets. They didn't hit enough in that game, right? That's really why they lost the game, and the bullpen blew it. But Topper made the decision to take Zach Wheeler out at the time he did, where he was dominating the game. He decided that was enough. He had thrown too many pitches, and it backfired. Now, they might have won that baseball game if Topper left Wheeler in. I'm not saying it's Topper's fault they lost that game. They need to score more than one run to win baseball games. But I've come to the reality that this is the way these games are going to go. Like last night's game, we're going to see a game just like that in the playoffs, except it won't be against the Nationals, who are terrible. It's going to be the Dodgers or Padres or whoever, the Reds or the Brewers. It's going to be a game just like last night. I need Topper to push the right buttons. And I think the Phillies need Topper to be great to win the World Series. 215-592-9494. That's how you hop aboard here Do the Phillies need a great version of Topper to win this thing? Or let's hear from Topper last night. Rob Thomson, hindsight after the 7th inning they went wrong.
Just the leadoff walk, and then I had Kirkering ready for House. In hindsight, I should have him ready for Adams, but Kirk still had his stuff, and he handled Adams pretty easily up to that point. And then once he faces Adams, and you give him the left-hander, and then you got to go to Kirk. So it was a rough inning at this point.
I don't love that answer from him last night. In hindsight, I should have had Kirkering ready a bat earlier. Then why wasn't he ready? I mean, you had a half inning there to figure out if Lazardo was going back out for the 7th, or if you're going to have someone. The fact that he admitted he didn't have the bullpen up early enough and ready enough.
That bothers you.
Well, I mean, I just don't understand. I mean, it's not the 4th inning, right? If a starting pitcher's cruising and it's the 4th or 5th inning, I can understand why the bullpen is a little slow to get up because it's early in the game. This was the 7th inning of the game. I mean, how many times has Jesus Lazardo pitched 7 or 8 innings? It's not that many. This is around the time of the game where he's going to start to probably lose it a little bit. And he admitted last night he wasn't ready. Didn't love that. And then let's hear from Topper on the offense, on the team right now. They're scuffling 3 in a row. Topper saying they've got to fight through it. They'll be fine.
What were you going to see from the offense with runners in scoring position?
Just probably trying to do a little bit too much. We got to get back to using the entire field, doing little things. Big things will happen. It's not like they're not working at it. I mean, you can hear the balls down there. A bunch of hitters in the cages right now, so we just got to fight through it.
By the way, as he's making excuses for the offense there, he said the Lazardo thing. Lazardo had walked the second to last batter in the 6th, so it was a walk, double play, another walk. I mean, that's 2 out of 3 batters he had walked. I mean, pretty clearly he was starting to lose it there. He let him give up the double, another walk, and then he pulls him out of the game. Look, last night's one game in August. That loss last night's not going to ruin the season. But I think the Phillies need Topper to be great to win the World Series. 215-592-9494. Where do you come down? He thinks ultimately it's more on the players, and it is more on the players. As I picture this, if we're having a parade here in November, I don't think we have it without Topper pushing a lot of right buttons. They don't have a turnkey team. They have 3 turnkey players, right? That's what they have. They have Turner, Schwarber, Harper. They're going to play every day. He's got to figure out now who's hitting cleanup. By the way, we thought Castellanos could be in that mix. Now I don't want him in the lineup. Who's hitting cleanup? Is it Real Muto? Is it Bohm who's coming back soon here? I mean, there's a lot of decisions. This 3rd and 4th starter, who goes to the bullpen? I think there's a lot going on here that Rob Thomson's going to play a big role in down the stretch, including a 6-man rotation that starts out. Kyle, where do you come down on Topper, who did not have himself a good night last night?
No, he didn't. I mean, but the Phillies, I think as a whole, haven't really had a very good last few nights. And I think it comes down to the offense just not scoring runs.
Yep.
Like, you can't expect to win games when you're scoring 1 run, 2 runs, 0 runs. And we know that that's the kind of funk that we've seen this offense get into. Does Topper need to push the right buttons in the postseason? Obviously, yeah. But I don't think this team comes down to a managing masterclass by Rob Thomson in order to win. They have one of the highest payrolls in baseball, as Hugh's phone goes off.
Yeah.
And we're off and running.
Yeah, but the starting pitching that they have, the guys in the bullpen now that it looks like they have, and this lineup, those things all need to be clicking at the right time in order for the Phillies to go deep. When I think of what you're talking about, I'm thinking about the Giants a few years ago when Gabe Kapler managed what was not a very good roster to 100-something games. That's how I view those type of teams. The Phillies are not this type of team. This is going to come down to the players just playing their best at the right time.
Well, they shouldn't be, but sometimes I do feel like they're more like those kind of. I mean, if 3 guys in the lineup every day that play every day and you just kind of pencil in, everybody after that, I guess 4 is Real Muto you put in that mix too because he catches basically every day. The other 5 spots, we're mixing and matching every single day, and where they hit, we're mixing and matching. As I picture this thing down the stretch, is it going to be his fault if they don't win it? Probably not. It's going to be the players not performing enough. But I do think if he's great, it can push them over the top. And last night, it was a very winnable game. I mean, the Nationals stink.
Yeah.
And they just let the game just flutter away because, and again, I'm not saying he's a poor manager. I like Topper. But last night, it's one of those things that happens in sports where every decision a coach makes in a game just kind of goes the wrong way. Sirianni had one of those games against the Jaguars. Remember, he kept going for 2. It's like once in a while you have a game where everything you do it's like a coin flip, right? They all go the wrong way. And last night, everything he tried, it just went backwards on him.
Yeah, but it still feels to me like it has to be on the players. Like, I look at it like this, and I know baseball is different, so I don't need anybody telling me that. But coming off the series you just had with the Reds and the way that went, this was your bounce back game. This was your get right game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think of when I think of this team. Like, you had a position, or you were in a situation where, I mean, I know they're professionals, but you got to come out and you got to kind of right the ship a little bit. You know, you got to get back on that right course, because you had a tough stretch. This was supposed to be the breather. And I know it's only one game, you got a couple more to go, but still, you got to get that first one, man, to get that nasty taste out your mouth.
Well, you know what? Why last night was particularly annoying? The Mets blew another lead. So the Phillies are still at 5 games, right? They're still in a very good position over the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
But Hugh, if the Phillies had continued playing as well as they were, they could have buried the Mets.
Yeah, they could have ran away.
I mean, this division lead could be 7 or 8 right now. It's 5, which is still a very good position to be in with 40 or so to go, and they still play the Mets coming up in a couple weeks. But boy, the Mets lose every night. I mean, if the Phillies could just keep stacking some wins, this division could be over.
Distance themselves.
Yeah, I mean, they could totally bury them.